Okay, so this is going to be a SunStone early tutorial. I'm going to start at this point because I took a lot of swimming beforehand, and I don't think it's hard to figure out. You just have to look at like any of my runs at this point and get to this part. So once you get to this the end of this right here, it's by the R-wing. You're going to want to get onto the next level of water above. So once you start coming up, it's going to try and pull you, so you want to be kind of fighting it, going this way. You want to start heading left here. Now, as you do this, it's actually possible, hopefully I can show an example and not soft lock. It's kind of easy to get stuck like this. And also this thing that loads when you Z-target, I don't know what that is, why it's there. Background maybe. If that happens, you want to look back and hopefully, usually you should be able to get unstuck. But be sure you're as close to inbounds, well, just as close to here as possible, and be looking more this way than this way. Just so you don't upper the chance of soft locking. Because it's quite easy to do it there. And you want to make this first right turn here in the open. So SunStone's been there's been a few different versions of it. I guess different strats have been made. It's been kind of progressive with strats recently. So, and I think by far this is the easiest, and SunStone's just much easier now than it used to be. Especially now that no zoom goggles is more viable than it used to be. So what you're going to want to do is go up on here carefully. Be holding R so that as you get on, you shield. And you don't want to clip back and bound, you just want to walk over here. I would try and center yourself like in the center of the pyramid. Maybe a little further than the center. Right here is fine. So what you're going to do is line Fox's feet. Basically they're touching the this line, the ground, where the ground stops. So yeah, it's basically touching the ground, where the ground is visible. I guess I don't know how to word it. So once that, you want to just roll, so press X, and you don't need to hold the control stick at all. Just press X and you'll roll, and he should land still out of bounds on the next level. Now, you want to do the same thing. You want to line Fox's feet up with the ground. And if you have to, Z-target so you can actually line them up. Because you want to be able to see what you're doing, but at the same time, it needs to be lined up. And it can be a little off like that. It shouldn't matter. So now you want to do the same thing. You want to roll, and I can't recall. I think as soon as you roll, as soon as you press X, you want to hold. Well, in this case, left, because you want to hold wherever you're going to go back. If you were doing this way, it would be holding back. If the camera was this way, it would be left. So basically hold the direction behind Fox. So X and then press left immediately. And then you're going to want to make your way up here. It is kind of tight, the leeway with it. But it's definitely easier and more consistent than the old methods. So once you get in, go around. Be careful you don't actually go across where it's rising up, because you could clip on the ceiling and fall in. So you want to go to this. You want to be on this side. Now you want to hit the loading zone. Same thing with we do with Moonstone. We want to actually load the inner part of SunStone, and it's much easier. You just want to be right here, and it should just load like that. And then you just want to back out and then keep it loaded. And again, it's loading when you see just the flames and the fire bats and everything. Now you want to clip on. So again, use shield so that you can carefully get on. Make your way over here. Now for this corner, I don't know why, but I find it's just much easier to do when you're going backwards. So what I do is I line Fox's left foot. You can see those gold pallets on the ground right here. Basically in between those two gold pallets. So, or design, whatever. So right here about. Then Z target, and so I use that pillar. You can see what I'm centering with the screen. That's where I line up. Then I tap back on the control stick so he turns around. Then I L target, so the camera's facing this way. And then you want to back up. Now you'll be able to feel the invisible wall. If it starts pushing you to the right, it's gonna clip you back in balance. If it pushes you too far to the left, I think you can fall. Or actually, no, it won't be. You won't feel the invisible wall if you are close to falling off. But I don't have any visual cue as I'm going across. But for some, it seems to have a lot of leeway, and I don't find myself failing it really. So make your way across here. Now this part's an issue, especially for a tutorial, because it involves using the sides of the TV. And the problem with this is because of CRTs versus LCDs. CRT TVs are the old box TVs. LCDs are the newer flat screen TVs. So the problem with CRTs is all CRTs, or most of them, you'll be very lucky if you find one that doesn't cut off the edge of the screens. So all CRTs are different, and that makes an issue with kind of showing what a lineup with this is, because whatever worked for me may not work for everyone else because their TV's different and it cuts off more or it cuts off less. But this is just what I do, and if it doesn't work, then I don't know what to tell you. I have to find something else. But what I do is, well, as for position in Fox, I will see. Obviously he's on this red square right here. And then make sure he's lined up facing it. And basically you can see his green pants come out. So they have to be like that. That's the only visual cue I use. I've always been using it. So his green pants have to be like that. Then you want to Z targets. I believe this, if you can see the edge of the screen, you can see what I'm lining up with here. And I notice I'm looking at the recording, my CRT, so right here it's completely touching the red spot. On the actual recording it isn't. So, but this is what I use, I believe. So once I do that, you just want to, I think you want to walk off. I'm not going to try rolling. I don't believe you hold back. So just walk off. Okay, there we go. So that used to be the easiest part of SunStone, so that's how hard it was. Now it's the hardest part. But it used to be the easiest before new setups. Then going across this isn't difficult. So that's SunStone early. So I hope this helped. That last drop, I think I did terrible explaining it, but that's how it is. I have to line up the sides of it like that. So yeah, I hope this helped. Thanks for watching.